Yo, what's going on, everyone? So, in this video, I want to talk about a lesson that I took away years ago, but was just reminded about a couple of days ago. So, I was actually having a conversation with one of my students. We are essentially planning to get him on the YouTube channel because we're going to have a little bit of an interview. He has had an insane amount of wins. He basically, just in a nutshell, went from earning $0 online to making 7,000, damn near $7,000. I think it's like a couple of hundred away from that. But nonetheless, he did incredibly well, right? And what he told me when we were, kind of communicating when we were going to schedule this time, really hit home and it resonated with me a ton. And I knew I had to come and make a bit of a YouTube video about it because this is a really good, important lesson for you to take away here. And he ended up telling me, and I quote, he said, "Sergio, I'm not going to lie, you completely changed my life. I originally, when I hopped onto the sales call to get onto, my program, he said, I was about $9,000 in debt. And even then, I had no problem investing the amount of money that I had to work with you because I knew it was all going to work out eventually." And that kind of blew my mind because I remember having that exact feeling. I remember knowing when I was making my very first big investment that I felt similar. I felt similar to what he was telling me. And it's so funny how all of this comes around full circle. So I'll give you some context around what my personal situation was like. So originally, when I got into this space, I was under the impression that, I could start any business model that I wanted to because I was more than capable of doing so. But it couldn't be further from the truth, right? It's just one of these like marketing schemes that a lot of people try to get you to believe, but it's not true. You're not valuable, right? You're just not. And you need to really understand that. And I didn't know that at the time. So I was just trying to find that fancy business model that was going to help make it work for me. How was it going to be the vehicle that was going to take me from 0 to 10K a month, right? Like everybody in the industry gets started with. And ultimately for me, it was a bunch of different stuff. It was, building an agency, building a drop shipping business, whatever, right? And for me, it was the big investment that I made was into coaching, was how to actually become a coach. And it was very naive of me to do this, but I invested $5,000 that I did not have. I pulled it out of my ass somehow and I made it happen. And the whole means behind this program was meant to show me how to become a coach, right? Except that, again, I didn't have anything valuable to share with the world. I was just making up a bunch of niches that I could potentially go down, but I hadn't done the thing that I was trying to actually, show people. And it was very naive of me. And it was basically a shiny syndrome situation, right? Where I saw this new fancy business model that can potentially help get me to the next level. And it just never worked out, right? But what I learned from that investment was that lesson in itself is that I have to go and stack some valuable skills to actually become valuable to the marketplace. If I don't do that, I'm never going to make it, right? And that was what I got out of that entire lesson. But the biggest thing that I really want to talk about here and put emphasis on is the fact that I did not hesitate to invest the amount of money that I did. So these $5,000 that I did not have, I had to go and get resourceful, right, and find it somewhere. So I eventually, pulled out personal loans. I did whatever it took, and I gathered the $5,000. The reason there was no hesitation behind me doing that is because of the fact that I knew I was going to be successful. And this is the same situation that my student told me. He said, like, I was about to max out my credit card, but I didn't care because I knew I was going to figure something out. And on top of that, he said that I genuinely like really seemed like I cared about him, and I did. So yeah, maybe that helped a little bit, but he had that inner feeling himself that he was going to figure it out. No, regardless of what he had to go through, he was going to make it happen. And chances are you're probably watching this video and you might have the exact same feeling. You might have tried this business model, starting an SMMA, an IPGA, whatever that might be. And regardless of what you go through and the failures that you endure, you are as resilient as they come. And I don't want you to feel shameful or confused as to why you feel like that. The reason you feel like that is a good thing. It's because you're meant for success. You're destined to make something happen in this online business space. And I think it's really good for you to lean into that. So you might have made investments now, right, into, a couple of courses. Maybe you've dropped $900 here, $1,000 here. Maybe it's been $50 here, whatever, right? I don't want one situation that might have quote unquote burned you in the past hold you back from another situation that might completely change the trajectory of your life. Chances are, of somebody really hitting a gold mine, their first go in terms of building a dropshipping business or a TikTok agency, whatever that might be, most of the time you're going to fail, right? It's just a given. There's no way around it. You need failure to grow. And what I want those of you who have that inner flame inside of you is I want you to lean into that. I want you to lean into the failure and be okay with losing at the beginning so you can win later on. Because that's exactly what happened to me. And for whatever reason, I didn't always feel motivated and sure of myself, but I knew I was going to figure something out. It was literally just a matter of time catching up to my income because I knew I was destined to make $10, $20, $30,000, right? It's just a matter of time catching up with that moment. So that's all for this video. I really wanted to make this because 80% of your journey of getting into this high ticket space is going to come from consistency. And consistency comes from making sure you have a vision and a very clear end destination in mind, or at the very least, a path to go down. So make sure you never lose that feeling, that inner flame, and instead lean into it because it's going to take care of you in the near future. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. I really just picked up the camera and wanted to talk about this super important lesson. So if you guys have any takeaways, let me know down below. And I'm also getting way more active on Instagram. So feel free if you want to chat about anything mindset, DM management, whatever it might be, send me over a message there. I personally reply to all the messages. So more than happy to give you guys my 2 cents about any questions you guys have. That being said, I'll see you all in the next one.